Introduction. The psychology of laziness. You develop the habit of overthinking. When you start believing that you are the person who can think your way out of any problem or issue, you somehow tend to believe that you are a great thinker, who in comparison to others can come up with the solution to any problem and stick to it for quite a long time. But it is of no use if you can't turn those thoughts into actions. What's the point if you keep avoiding those actual actions? What is the use if you stay up all night planning and never put it into real action the next day? What is the use if that bug of procrastination keeps biting you inside out? It doesn't make a difference if you are very talented but do not know how to put that talent into some use. Only if you keep thinking about it and think it is your talent to think, then that talent is merely a cipher. There are three sorts of people. 1. Those who are not diligent enough and keep thinking. 2. Those who are keen to work hard, but have no talent. And 3. Those who are both diligent and talented. People from the last sort are the ones who, in a true sense, can kill that bug of procrastination. 3. Mohammed Shakil. In this book, I will tell you how I managed to kill this bug of procrastination, and how you can do this too and set out on this journey of making your dreams come true. Because the moment you begin, you have completed 50% of your work. Let's start with my story, my lazy to busy story. Initially, I was the victim of overthinking and procrastination too. I used to surf the internet for hours sitting in one place, had not devised a clear strategy or goals, had dreams but just used to talk about them among friends. I used to watch funny videos on YouTube, play online games, go out with friends, day in and day out on the loop. I was under severe stress. Wanted to earn money, make it big, but for me to control all these stray thoughts and focus on work had become too difficult to manage. I used to plan a lot, tweak ideas and thoughts into strategies, so on and so forth, but the very next day I would lose all the excitement. I would think I had plenty of time at my disposal and could figure out everything later. Thus, I kept avoiding immediate actions, and the biggest mistake was to think that anything I should do should be with perfection. I could not even start. I would watch for the psychology of laziness, others doing it, and think I am better than them. I still could not begin and cursed my fate. When this reached its threshold, I started breaking it down and analyzing carefully what exactly was going wrong. And I started seeing changes in my life after implementing the fixes I had pointed out to myself. It may bring some positive changes in your life too. I religiously studied the working of mind, energy system, and their direct and indirect synchronization with the body. Why is it so that a few hours back I wanted to do something so badly and now I am not half as excited about it as I was in the beginning? I get tired easily and slog my way out of it as soon as possible. I figured out how this mind works, what exactly occurs in it while we are motivated and confident, and what goes on while we are depressed and feeling low. How dopamine chemical is helpful. I thoroughly studied how the science of motivation works, how procrastination kills our productivity. I studied how I could complete a task satisfactorily without procrastinating and losing motivation. 5. Mohammed Shakil, what chemical turmoil is there in our brain? That every year dreams are being cherished and years are passing by and we are stuck at the same place. I got everything sorted and started applying those fixes in my life, and that's it. I realized a positive shift in my life, my thought process and my actions, to convey all this to others and help them with their problems. I started a YouTube channel, Cool Mitra. I went on making video after video, and within 1 year of starting, I had reached 1 million subscribers. Today it holds around 1.8 million subscribers, and has garnered 10 crores plus views, that too on an educational channel. I have conducted many motivational seminars and am planning a brand new motivational seminar series. I get a lot of invitations from big colleges, but due to my busy schedule can't make it everywhere. I offer some online courses too in technical skills. People have started adding values to their lives from these and earning money. I have been awarded the youngest motivational speaker award from the United Nations. 6. The psychology of laziness. Back in the day, I was not mentally firm, lacked willpower, courage, and zeal to start working. Today I am successfully running my team and setting milestones for myself. Want to know every step? How I brought about this change in myself? Blending my research and life observation, I have written this book, which is in your hands now. First, I would like to thank you all for choosing this book, and start reading it. Now that you have started reading it, complete it in one go. If you don't procrastinate now, you would not procrastinate millions of small tasks in the future. In this book, I have tried to explain all the concepts in a conversational tone, just the way you chat on WhatsApp. This book is very concise, very brief, and filled with useful tips on life in general, which you can complete in the time a person can attend a party and come back. If you spend too much on your enjoyment today, you may have to sell your essential belongings tomorrow, but if you invest in essential assets today, you will surely be able to purchase more than basic amenities tomorrow. 7. Mohammed Shakil. After reading this book, you might realize, I wish I had known all this a few years back, and my life would have been a lot different. I had to waste my time to learn. You read this book and learn. Hey there. This is me talking to you in the entire book. On my ID card, my name reads Maud Shakil. And people know me as Cool Mitra, my stage name. I am a digital entrepreneur, techie, writer, India's youngest logical thinker. I have written more about myself on the last page of this book. As for now, I am here to welcome you to my world of thoughts. Let me take you on a ride to a completely different perspective towards life. Don't read this book just for the sake of it. Read it with all your attention. Submerge yourself in my observations that I have put into these pages. I read a lot of books on achieving goals, and I have noticed that 90% of the books that I have read did not have a practical approach towards the ideas they provided. You enjoy it, but you don't really employ those ideas in real life. 8. The psychology of laziness. I vouch, you would be bound to implement the principles that I have propounded in the book, and I promise while you are reading this book, this will be one of the most memorable moments in your life. I am not going to boast of big impractical junk here, but you will see. You should keep away from two sorts of people. 1. Those who try to demoralize you and tell you you can't do it, even though you deserve it. 2. Those who try to butter you up and flatter you for their benefits. It gets into your head, and you get away from reality. I want to start talking about that one thing for which we acknowledge, relate, identify, admire, idealize a person. It can be our role model. The whole world knows him/her for one reason, and that is his/her habit. How is your entire day going to be? Depends on those good old habits of yours that you so fondly cling to. A lot of things a person does in a day, knowingly or unknowingly, he forms a pattern that gets imprinted in his subconscious mind, which replicates itself over time and becomes a way of life before he ever takes a step back and cares to realize it. And before this dominating pattern becomes uncontrollable. Mohammed Shakil Bli, you will have to discern carefully the engineering that this mind is built upon. The time that you are spending on reading this book is not only worth it, but it will keep earning you returns all your life. 10. Chapter 1, How much time do you have? The psychology of laziness. Do you know how much time you exactly have? How much spare time you have at your hand that you aren't even aware of? In the heat of the moment, you get motivated easily and decide to do a lot of things at once, but sometimes laziness, fear of failure, overthinking, the habit of procrastination, and sometimes obstinate chase of perfection becomes the foe of your success. At other times you are not physically and mentally active enough to pursue your goals. Most people spend most of the year just thinking. Some of it is wasted in laziness and lack of energy, and hardly for 2 to 3 months they are truly active and productive with all their might. It might have happened to you too, whether it be about gym, diet, work related to business. You are just about to form a flow, and you start losing motivation, excitement, and vigor, and you drop out. It doesn't matter how talented you are, what matters is how persistent you are. Even the most talented ones fall behind those who are persistent in their efforts and can hold on to a task without getting bored very easily. The thing is, to what extent can you do a job for as long as you want without losing the 13. Mohammed Shakil vigor, and meanwhile, there is no bug of procrastination looming around, no laziness, and no other ideas about doing anything else. The biggest reason for giving up is when you start finding something else more fascinating than the task in your hand. We never analyze the usage of the total number of hours that we get in a year of 365 days, i.e. 8,760 hours. We are going to do that in this book. Let's understand the interaction between body and mind and have a close look at our energy system, along with calculating how much spare time we get every year in our life. Also, how to start doing the hardest of work that we always wanted to start but could not manage to do because of our biggest enemy, slumber. After you completely grasp the insights from the book, you can complete work that normally would take years in months. I wish you to start achieving your goals in the upcoming 6 months. People today are achieving their goals worth 10 years of their time in merely 6 months and making their own success stories. Let us have a look at how much time we exactly have. 14. The psychology of laziness. Time math. In a year there are 8,760 hours, 24 hours times 365 days. If you sleep for 8 hours daily, you sleep for 2,920 hours, 8 hours times 365 days, in a year. Now you are left with 5,840 hours. 8760 to 2920. And if you invest 40 hours every week into your work, i.e. the occupation that buys you food, that makes it 1920 hours, 40 hours times 4 weeks times 12 months, a year. Which leaves us with 3,920 hours, 5840. 1920. And if we consider 2 hours a day for lunch, dinner, shower, mobile phone, internet, etc. in a year, it makes 730 hours, 365 days times 2 hours. And finally, we are left with 3,190 hours, 3,920 to 730. Apart from work, sleep, and all other daily activities, we still have these 3,190 hours every year as spare time, which is 266 hours every month, 3,190 hours/12 months, and 8 to 9 hours every day, 3,190 hours/365 days. The real question is, where do these spare 3,190 hours go? At the beginning of every year, you set goals that you never accomplish. Why? 15. Mohammed Shakil. Every time you set a goal, to get rid of addiction, develop good habits, to earn, to achieve happiness, to savor success. But as usual, after the year starts, months go by, and you keep telling yourself, all is well. You still have time. And bam! Before you realize it, this year is gone too. If there is a dream, it is in thoughts. If there is an idea, it is always in the making. Why? Because you don't have money, support, and biggest of all, you just don't know where to start from. What should be the initial steps? Holding these thoughts, you reach halfway through the year. Slowly, you realize that you are in the middle of nowhere, and the year is left with 6 more months only. Then you rush, put all your hasty efforts, try to do as much as you can. Slowly you start getting results, but the results are so slow that it demotivates you and you don't want to do it anymore. And the same is true for every year worth of these spare 3,190 hours of a year. So now we know what we have been doing with this much spare time every year, and what should we be doing? 16. The Psychology of Laziness. Indirectly, this book will help you achieve your dreams, goals in these extra hours, without hampering your routine. What can be more wonderful than you getting a new life every year? You utilizing these 8 to 9 hours every day in a more productive way? If you decide to read books in this spare time, you can read 531 books every year, considering you spend on an average 6 hours to complete a book. 3,190 hours/6 hours. You have got 3,190 hours in this life of yours. Very few people are aware of this fact. I hope you must be as alarmed as I was when I, for the first time, got to know about this. By that time, I had already lost a lot of time. 531 books a year, 45 books a month, more than a book a day. Wait. Wait. I know what I am asking you to do. I know it's quite not possible to follow this math to a T. We are understanding the data mechanically. You are not a machine. You have a mood. You are prone to ailments. You might take 10 hours on a book instead of 6 hours. You must be fond of traveling. You might be in a relationship. You might be married. You may have to spend some family time too. You can't 17. Mohammed Shakil just read for 6 hours at a stretch. You will take breaks. You will surf the internet. You have a friend circle. Besides, reading 531 books a year is not a cakewalk. Human life is very unpredictable. Nothing can be certain and vouched for. Everything is variable. So let us take 22 books a month, if not 45. Okay, even less, 11 books, okay, 5 books a month. Is it still too much? If you suddenly feel like somebody has just slapped in your face a tight reality check, you are on a right track. No worries, keep reading. You can't believe it, can you? That after reducing so many books still, it seems undoable. It is obvious that just reading is not enough. You have to take actions. 2. You will take online tutorials for your hobbies. You will try a couple of other things too. You will try to find many ways to earn money online, offline. You can utilize time in many other ways. Why books? Why am I stressing upon books only? Because all those people who are highly successful today give their credit of success to their habit of reading books, and still reading is the vital part of their routine. 18. The psychology of laziness. Let me give you a couple of examples. J.K. Rowling became a billionaire by writing books. She wrote Harry Potter series. She has 7,000 crore rupees. Jeff Bezos started Amazon by selling books, and today he is the richest man in the world. And Amazon is the biggest market of books. And it is quite possible that you too must have purchased this book from Amazon. Amazon has started Kindle now, which offers ebooks. Amazon Audible, that serves books in audio formats. Amazon has Kindle tablets, which are customized book reading gadgets. Amazon has acquired Goodreads, which is a book review portal. Warren Buffett, who is known as the world's biggest philanthropist and humanitarian. He is also known as the wizard of the stock market. He credits his success to reading financial books. Other than that, things that are opening up your eyes right now are 2. Because of a book that is in your hands. Many of you might not be used to reading books, but while you are reading it, you must be understanding the importance of reading books. 19. Mohammed Shakil. Book reading works like magic. There is no problem in this universe without a solution to it. Whatsoever is your problem, there is a book available for its solution. Books have been written since time immemorial. In any book right from the beginning till date, every writer has tried to put in his experiences, his observation, and hence, solutions to the problems. It is no short of a miracle that somebody has already written a book for the solution to a problem that you may face in your life. And we must learn to learn from the mistakes of others, instead of learning after making those mistakes ourselves. We must save time. Life is too short already. We have very little time to make our dreams come True, achieve success. Due to unhealthy food, climate change, social media, and its cyber maladies, life expectancy has reduced. We have to keep ourselves on a safer side with changing times. Do not worry. In this book, you will be finding such solutions to your problems that not only your life will change but perception of people would change too after seeing Chapter 2, Time Management. The Psychology of Laziness. In the last chapter, we learned that we have extra 3,190 hours in a year that we can invest in learning a new skill, such as reading books, that will enhance our productivity. Also, our life is too short to learn by making mistakes. We should learn to learn from others' mistakes. If we want to make it big in our short life, we will have to learn from others' lives. A question that should arise in your mind is that where does this extra time, 3,190 hours, go? As you always think you don't have enough time. Honestly speaking, most people don't know where exactly their time is being invested. Managing our own time, and tracking every single activity is not an easy task. For a few days you follow the to-do list. Keep an eye on a calendar, plan your activities, make schedules, yet everything falls apart. We are so unconscious about our time that if I tell you what exactly are we doing with it, you wouldn't believe me. For instance, research claims that on average a person in a day checks his/her phone 100 times, but if you ask a person, he would probably say 30 to 40 times. That means more than half of the people don't know where exactly their focus is. 23. Mohammed Shakil. You don't heed your focus. If you do, everything will be under focus and your control. When you know you are conscious, you are productive. You are doing things at the right pace, you are correctly utilizing the time. When you remember where your focus was, what you ate yesterday, for how long you worked, and to remember all this you don't have to apply pressure on your mind, such that it becomes your habit. You are legitimately a productive person. If you are not productive, years will pass by, you will keep making new year resolutions but won't accomplish anything. Because you must know how to keep your mind alert, how to maintain energy in your body, how to keep yourself fit and healthy, how to keep in your focus the goal you have set. Only then will you be able to achieve all your goals by the time December arrives. Smartphone addiction. I had asked you where your time goes. Among all the other things that are notoriously prominent for distracting your attention today, the biggest of them is smartphones. One of the things 24. The psychology of laziness that divert the focus for most, or the only thing that diverts the focus for many. Let me quote some research about smartphone addiction that I discovered. Just because of mobile phones, if you are too addicted to them, your life can be disturbed to a great extent. The smartphone that is in your hand, do you control it, or the smartphone controls you? Just like some people fear water, known as aquaphobia, some people fear height, known as acrophobia, some fear crowded places, known as agoraphobia. Similarly, there is a phobia called nomophobia. It is a sort of fear when you don't have your cell phone around. We are losing our memorizing skills. In these times, nobody wants to Remember 100 contacts. Instead of memorizing, we would feed them on our phones, but this way we are getting used to saving everything by writing notes and Google information without ever remembering it. We don't find anything worth remembering, which is eventually resulting in the loss of a very important skill, because we don't use it much. When we use a part of the body very less, it becomes redundant. 25. Mohammed Shakil, if I ask you today to memorize any contact number, it might be very difficult for you to do it. But if you remember, 5 to 6 years back it was not as difficult. Today, in our routine the things to commit to our memory have reduced a lot. We write things in mobile phones, set reminders, set alarms, use calculators, use a lot of shortcut tools to reduce the drill, time, and pressure on the mind. Almost every digital company today engages you through mobile in such a way that you yourself don't know why you opened the lock screen and now you are lost in doing something else. Any product related to smartphones, mobile devices, internet applications, SIM cards, all these companies have the target to make you use their products as much as possible. You don't have a clue how these big tech companies are studying your mind and behavioral patterns to tap your likes and dislikes, and designing their products in such a way that your addiction grows even worse. Use of smartphone applications, Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, photo filter, has increased so much that people have become victims of insomnia. 26. The psychology of laziness. While you use all these applications, dopamine chemical is released in your mind, just like when you smoke. You want to do it again and again. Many psychologists believe that the addiction to social media is as fatal as alcohol, nicotine, and gambling. Let me reiterate, the mobile phone that you are holding in your hands. If you do not use it sensibly, it will start controlling you. Playing games, needless chatting, watching useless content on video streaming platforms, uploading WhatsApp stories, editing selfies frequently, reading nonsensical news, checking the phone for no particular reason. All these are very dangerous habits, just as drugs, alcohol, nicotine, and gambling are. Can you lock your smartphone whenever you like and want? Do you struggle to keep your mobile phone away for a few hours? Do you keep your cell phone near you while you sleep? Yes or no? You constantly have thoughts about your phone, don't you? Does your uneasiness increase with every passing second? Do you become anxious to check your phone whereas you know you haven't received any notification or messages? 27. Mohammed Shakil, ask yourself, how many times in a day do you use your phone for productive work and how many hours for quenching your addiction? The ratio is 1:9. I watched a documentary called The Social Dilemma a while back, in which they showed how social media and the internet have changed a person's life for good. It contends that every digital giant with all its might is trying to make its platform and products more and more addictive and toxic using your data. Data means when do you use the phone in a day, what do you surf, what do you post, where do you stop, your watch time, which post do you like, which you dislike and why. All this information goes to these companies, and they use it to make their products and services better. Just like a feedback system. All this is handled by an algorithm, a software system that you call artificial intelligence, a robot that controls your devices and what you watch on them. You might have heard that in near future, AI, artificial intelligence, will control human minds, but it is already doing so. A good example is the way you are being targeted by the advertisement experts, whatever you watch. 28. The psychology of laziness in a browser. That information is exploited in a very vicious way to show you just the right advertisement of the products that you might be interested in. All the big social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, Google are being used to extract information from users, and after studying this information, users are shown content only based on their taste and inclination. And all this is happening in such a smart way that you can't even imagine. When technical junkies meet with marketing experts, they can make you dance to their tunes. If you are addicted to mobile phones, mind you are being controlled by machines. What if you reverse the ratio of time that you spend on the phone for your addiction and productive work? What if you develop an addiction to watching useful content on the internet, read articles on your field of interest? Anyways, let's come back to the subject. Let us talk about family. When you go out with family, let us say for dinner in a restaurant, nobody is enjoying food, or one another's company. Everybody is busy on his phone, probably chatting with somebody who is somewhere else, ignoring his family. And 29. Mohammed Shakil busy on the phone as well. Due to this addiction, we are ignoring our family, friends, and all the people that matter to us, but can't help it. So everybody is ignoring each other and nobody is aware of it. Darker side of smartphones. Talking about the ill effects of the addiction to smartphones, I don't want to bore you, but now I will tell you how it is ruining the goals and dreams in our lives. I want to tell you what is the reason behind your laziness, your procrastinating nature, which keeps you from making progress every year. Let me scare you a little bit more by telling you the ill effects of smartphones. If your problems are such that you forget things a lot, you are always confused about things, constantly under stress, don't feel like doing anything, your back pains, physical strength is reduced. All this is due to the addiction to smartphones. Northwestern University in its study claims that those who spend most of their time using smartphones are depressed. For those who are recovering from this addiction, their depression lasts about 68. 30. The psychology of laziness minutes. While those whose mental health is perfectly fine, face the depression of only 17 minutes. Another research conducted in 2012 says those who immediately respond to their notifications and messages on their phones are more under stress. Let's talk about sleep, because sleep is a crucial factor in your productivity. If you don't feel energetic in the daytime, if you feel less energetic, if you feel sleepy all the time, it means you have not slept well, and that affects your brain memory severely. According to research, among all those who use smartphones in the age range of 18 to 29, 63% of these people keep their smartphones, tablets, etc. near them while they sleep. For those who are in the age range of 30 to 64, 30% among them do the same. Keep their phones near them while they are sleeping. But what is wrong with it? A research paper published in 2015 states that the caffeine that you take in your coffee is not as harmful as the bright light of your smartphones at night. If you have the habit of using a smartphone at night just before sleeping, chances are you are facing severe sleep deprivation. 31. Mohammed Shakil. But it is the melatonin that saves our day/life, which tells us that it is time to sleep, and we fall asleep. A researcher at Harvard studied the effect of exposure to green light and blue light and found out that blue light blocks melatonin 2 times faster than green light does. The blue light that is in your phone display hinders your sleep. I am talking a lot about sleep here because the ways in which lack of sleep disturbs the life of an individual and the people around him are bizarre. People come around it only when it is too late or have no other option other than popping sleeping pills. Let's now talk about one odd fact related to the overuse of smartphones, which is bacteria. The University of Arizona contends that your smartphones have 10 times as many bacteria as there are in your toilet. You clean the toilet regularly, but how often do you clean your smartphones? And you use your smartphone while eating, drinking water, etc. Don't you? Due to your habit of touching your smartphones every minute, how often it is making you sick, you don't even realize. 32. The psychology of laziness. If we talk about family and friends, we have developed a communication gap between ourselves. We don't even know the name of our neighbors. When we talk to our friends in the locality properly, we have no idea. On the contrary, we are busy talking to a person far away just because the other person is also the victim of this addiction. Research by the University of Maryland states that due to the overuse of smartphones we have become more selfish. Moreover, it is killing us inside. One of the biggest harms it is causing is the loss of attention span and loss of memory. Attention span is the maximum time for which you can pay attention to anything. Due to loss of attention span, we are now addicted to short video platforms such as Instagram Reels. We want something new every 20 to 30 seconds. We can't keep our attention focused. We don't have enough patience to watch a 15 to 20 minutes tutorial to learn anything, let alone reading a book. We want everything very fast. Because of these distracting platforms, we have lost the adequate attention span. I have noticed it myself that where 5 to 6 years back, people could easily read an article which took them 33 Mohammed Shakil at least 10 minutes to complete, while today it has become very difficult to draw their attention even for 1 minute. These users in a matter of seconds switch between apps every minute. They want to watch something short and brief, something interesting, something new, and keep scrolling. Due to this, they have lost the attention span and peace of mind. And all this is happening so slowly that they can't figure out what's happening. For instance, many people just don't know why they feel bad, why they are suffering from depression. They don't know the reason. It is benefiting only the big tech companies, who themselves are clearly not addicted to smartphones. They take care of their health really well, but you don't. A cigarette seller does not necessarily smoke, a drug specialist doesn't do drugs himself necessarily. So beware. If you keep messing around with your health like this, there will come a moment in life that no matter how successful you become, how much fame you have, how much money you make, how caring and loving life partner you have, you won't be able to enjoy your life thoroughly because your health has gone out of your hands. 34. The Psychology of Laziness. People who follow me on my YouTube channel, Cool Mitra, are 80% youth, and I want them to work not only on success but also towards changing their bad habits. Tip: go to your smartphone settings and watch the screen time report. You see how much time, in hours, you spend per day on every app. Chapter 3. Analyze your energy consumption. The Psychology of Laziness. It is all about analyzing energy. Just begin to understand how your mind and body work in sync, and see how you start achieving your goals one after the other. If you don't have energy inside, how will you stay productive? You won't feel like doing anything. You plod your way through the work. You feel dizzy. How will this work? As I told you in the beginning, you have 3,190 spare hours to invest in any of the activities. You can start book reading, work for extra income, online education, but all that requires energy and motivation. You must invest energy in mind and body. Now, where this energy will come from, I will tell you. So, you must assign your energy and time by making a schedule. Everything should be at your fingertips. You don't need to look in the phone or some timetable to keep track. You must have those mental notes inside your head. All this you must do, but first, understand your goals, and to do that you will have to break your goals into smaller parts. So, tell me, what are your goals for the future? Tell me, where will you invest these spare 3,190 hours? Do you want to live every year unconsciously just like you were living before, where you don't have 39? Mohammed Shakil, any idea where does your time go, or do you wish to keep track of your time, set goals, and make schedules? Have you distributed your goals into smaller goals? Because when you break it down, you have to work less, and you have a sense of achievement to move on to the next goal with more power and motivation. Body and mind. Let's understand this aircraft that we want to fly, because if we don't understand the working, how will we reach our destination? Then we'll see, where will the fuel to run this vehicle come from? Then I'll tell you how to fly and where to fly. How to keep it flying without commotion, disturbance, or any sort of turbulence. This means I will tell you about every detail on how to make yourself ready to work towards your goals and achieve them. And doing all this, you will never have to face fretting and fuming about perfection, procrastination, second thoughts, fear, confusion, loss of confidence, or cluelessness about where to start from. So, in this book, we are learning how to live achieving goals one by one while staying fit physically and mentally. 40. The Psychology of Laziness. Mentality. Things that I am going to tell you are going to be life-changing for you. Okay, let's go. Does not matter how many mistakes you have made, how much time you have wasted. Let's do all of it without wasting time and perfectly. I want to be part of this myself, and take this challenge with you. Because I have my own set of goals to achieve, so let's plan it together. But who can do this? What do you exactly need to be doing this? Do you have any tragic background story that is pulling you away from your dreams? Are you a housewife who does not have enough time for her own? Is your society or community stopping you from achieving your dreams? Then I don't have anything to say to you. I just have a situation here that I am going to present, and you decide for yourself if this situation had been with you. Even then, would you have made the above excuses? The situation is you just have 6 months to live. After that you are surely going to die, no matter what the reason is. It can be anything. But you've just got 6 months to live. 41. Mohammed Shakil, could you imagine yourself doing everything that you were going to do in the coming 10 years, in these 6 months? When you come to learn that you are dying in 6 months, would you leave any stone unturned to achieve what you always wanted? Would you let go of your talent? Would you think that you are the busiest person in the family and you don't have enough time for yourself? Would you be stoppable just because you are not old enough to do a particular work? Would you die without ever knowing your potential? Would you like to sleep on a deathbed made of remorse, regret, and nothing more than sorrow? You kept finding ifs and buts in everything. And now dying saying I wish. Founder of Apple Incorporated in his speech of Stanford University said something really remarkable, and I quote, "I kept telling myself for the last 33 years of my life, looking into the mirror every day, would I have been doing the same thing today that I am going to do if I were to drop dead this very day?" Jobs said, "Remembering the fact that I will soon be dead helped me make crucial decisions in life." Jobs believed if you think that you don't have 42. The Psychology of Laziness enough time to live in this world, you would not fear failure, you would not fear taking risks. The only fear will be of missing out on anything. The only thing that will then matter is how fast can you accomplish things, and that too with utmost precision. You would completely lose the fear of losing. You would be more fearless than ever. When you start believing that you really don't have enough time, will you waste it on social media and smartphones? Would you talk nonsense? Would you find it difficult to rise at 5 in the morning? Would you complain about working 40 hours a week? Would you not feel charged and active? And above all, would you need external motivation and push to work hard? If you want to make some real progress this year, then you will have to realize the worth of that achievement/progress. Only then can you understand the real worth of your time. Once you have learned the worth of time, you won't waste it on petty things, just the way you spend money very carefully. You spend money recklessly if it is coming from parents. As soon as you are on your own, you don't. Let's start one by one. 43. Mohammed Shakil 1,2,3 Go. I had talked about how you can utilize the extra 3,190 hours in any productive activity. I had given an example of reading books. Let's come back to the world of books. Is reading books everything? Not everything, but it is surely something. All the things that you have come to know for the very first time in this book, are also because of a book. Right? But, is just learning enough? Let me explain. See, everything that we learn, we don't necessarily apply in our lives. We don't know where to put into action all the information we gather from around the world. You must be thinking everybody is talking about reading and gathering more and more knowledge, but nobody is talking about how to employ the knowledge in life. I have seen many people acquiring a lot of knowledge every day, learning new things every day, and forgetting older things, because they don't know how to apply things practically. On the other hand, some people are very less of a scholar and don't have that much knowledge per se, but they started 44. The Psychology of Laziness, taking action, and learned everything on the go, and are more successful than the former. While we are talking about reading books, the important part is implementing the principles mentioned in the book in life and analyzing the benefits. 5 wells yielding water are more beneficial than 100 wells yielding no substantial gains. The connection between habits, brain power, and knowledge. Anything you learn, whether from the internet, books, or any other medium, for how long you will remember it depends on your brain power. Everybody has a different capability to memorize and learn stuff. But everyone forgets sooner or later. Humans are bound to forget things. That is why subjects like accountancy, etc. were created, to keep track of things, and never confuse anything. Now listen carefully. If you have learned anything, and you don't make it a habit, you will surely forget it, but if you make it a habit, the pressure on you to keep it memorized vanishes. 45. Mohammed Shakil. In short, whenever you learn anything, before you forget, put it into practice. And if it isn't worth practicing, then forgetting it should not be an issue. That's the point. There are primarily 3 benefits of converting your learnings into habits. First, you don't have to keep it in your mind all the time. You don't have to remind yourself, like habits of reading books, watching informative videos on YouTube, analyzing your life, writing it down, learning lessons from the past mistakes by contemplating it in spare time. Second, you don't need the motivation to do a thing when it is your habit. For instance, waking up early in the morning. People over time develop this habit, and don't feel a thing even in the hardest of times. To stick to it, you don't need someone to push you towards doing it. Third, your brain doesn't get tired over the things that are your habits. And it goes without saying that when you are not tired over the activities that come so naturally to you, you can really increase your stamina and productivity. The subconscious mind does all the work for you. Simply, you don't have to work up your mind. 46. The Psychology of Laziness. Everything that you are going to learn from this book, you will forget it eventually if you don't implement it. You can benefit only when you have put it into practice. What pulls you back from making it a habit? Maybe you are not willful enough. Like you want to go to gym regularly and consistently, but it just doesn't happen. Why? Willpower. Even after starting it with a lot of enthusiasm, you collapse after some days, a month, or 2. That's it. Why does our mind change towards it? Because you lose energy, get exhausted, lose excitement, motivation thins out, confidence fades. Why does this happen? What is so mysteriously unknown about this brain that makes us feel different every time, every situation? What all goes on in our mind when we are excited about doing anything? What all goes in our mind when we are depressed and disappointed with anything? Let's understand this, because the more we understand the control system, i.e. our brain, the better you can control anything that happens in your life. Chapter 4, Dopamine. The Psychology of Laziness. Be more attentive, from this part of the book, because procrastinating, feeling excited initially and then losing excitement, feeling bored. Why does all this happen is what you are about to learn. How the mind of a successful person works, you are about to know. I will explain all that in the jargon of science. I am going to tell you how you can exactly keep your happiness in your control, how you can enhance the happiness quotient, because you cannot do wonders if you are not happy with yourself, with your life. By happiness, I mean staying productive. If you are happy, you are productive, and if you are productive, you can work with full throttle. Now, the information that I am about to share with you, you might feel that you wish you knew this before. I am going to tell you the reason why you feel sad and happy, which impacts your mood, and hence the quality of your work. After this, chances are you will start staying happier, if you truly understand the happiness hormones. I am not saying you will always stay happy, and never be sad. Clearly, that is not true. Your mood swings and it always will. At times, you will feel bad too. But at that time, while you are in a bad situation, you are having a rough day, deep inside you will know 51. Mohammed Shakil, it is momentary, hormones are triggering the mood. You always will be aware of the reasons triggering your hormones of happiness and sadness. And even if you are feeling low, at least you know the reason and you are fully aware and positive about it. And you will never do anything stupid while you are in a bad situation, rather you can control your situation. Likewise, in bliss, you will not go out of the way and spoil your happiness, rather celebrate harmlessly. Let's understand these hormones that trigger in your brain due to different activities, like some people are habitual/addicted to smoking and doing drugs. They can't give it up, because when they are smoking, the hormones that trigger in their brain make them feel ecstatic and give them the realization of immense joy. And this unforgettable joy makes smoking addictive. That's why addicts of inebriation rush to arrange money for their drinks more than they ever would for their food and shelter. Let's start with nature. Man since time immemorial has been exploring the nooks and corners of civilization, and he will continue to do so. Every time man has discovered something, it is not just because of the mere necessity, but because of the thrill of it. Today, the smartphone that you hold 52. The psychology of laziness in your hands. Why did that person kill himself to discover this piece of technology that made everyone's life so easy? Why did somebody burn the midnight oil to reach this stage of evolution and advancement in terms of science and technology? A billionaire doesn't stop even after earning so much fortune. What is wrong with his brain? Why is he still working hard? The reason is the same: the dopamine chemical that arouses the Craving motivates people to work hard constantly. It naturally triggers. When you feel thrilled and excited about anything, it is part of the reward system in our brain that works internally for the betterment of life. Dopamine stimulates your brain about doing things and you jump with excitement. Why is a team of astronauts planning to travel all the way up to the moon? Why are we even bothering to land on Mars? Why did somebody make the operating system, OS, so simple and user-friendly that anybody, even an illiterate, can use it? Whenever the scientist or an explorer is on his way to a breakthrough, the hormone that fills him with joy is dopamine. This dopamine arouses good feelings. Good feelings. 53. Mohammed Shakil. Every one of us wants to feel good. We are all in the race of attaining happiness. We can have that good feeling by doing anything self-destructive such as smoking, or rather something productive too. It depends on us. Your future holds good things or bad things for you, solely depends on your choice. Do you want to do something good today and wait for it till it pays off, or do something stupid that makes you feel nice temporarily and regret it for the rest of your life? When someone achieves something, and the whole world appreciates his work, the feeling that he gets becomes the best feeling of his life. Similarly, a man can derive his best feeling by devouring drugs. That too gives joy but ruins his life later. Man likes to discover and invent things, develop technology, doing better every day, making things easier for his fellow beings, which gives a sense of achievement, and this is the world's best feeling for him. During that time, the chemical that releases in our brain is known as dopamine. Therefore, forget everything and think for a while. Let's say there is an artist, a poet. When he completes a poem or a book, he generates a sense of achievement in his mind. 54. The psychology of laziness. When you have joined the gym, and you see some growth, you kind of want to pursue it further, isn't it? The human brain works on the reward system. It runs after those small rewards. Every time there is a sense of achievement, automatically it runs a wave of happiness in the body. Like a painter who paints for himself, because he loves that feeling that he gains from the brain. Think for a while if we did not have this reward system in our brains, such that if somebody praises us, we like it, we make something with our own hands, we get applause for it and we like it. If all this wasn't there would not have been an artist in the world, no entrepreneur, no scientist, such advanced technology, these many dishes. Life won't have been this easy, these many career options won't have been there, because if there is no feel-good factor in our brains, why would anybody bother? We all humans are running after rewards, internally and externally. Many of us want to be rich someday, have big houses, cars, etc. Imagine yourself in a place where you have all that you always wished to possess. How would you feel? Yes, the exact happiness that you will feel is the result of dopamine hormone, so behind anybody's success, there is this chemical. 55. Mohammed Shakil. When we create anything, and somebody admires it too, we feel proud of ourselves. Here too, is the dopamine chemical responsible. This chemical dopamine rewards our brain, gives us a kick to do even better. Similarly, people do drugs, they feel the kick and the immense joy that might be momentary but gives a heightened sense of ecstasy. Despite knowing that it will eventually backfire and can destroy their life, still, people can't help get rid of it because the brain is so powerful. The chemical activities inside increase the craving, and humans can't help but give in to their urges. For instance, when you start playing games, you improve at it every passing day, and it feels great to be doing it. You kind of want to keep doing the same so that you get that same high when you play it, and when we can play it all night because we get that thrill. You must have read in the news that these addicted gamers are crossing the line and risking their lives in the pursuit of the so-called gamers' challenges. They want to continue deriving that sense of joy, while they get rewarded in the game, which is created by the dopamine hormone in the brain. We are nothing but helpless creatures at the beck and call of our brain. Although in games too you have to burn your brain cells, there you don't get tired, there you get high, and that high is dopamine. 56. The psychology of laziness. But that does not mean that people cannot derive happiness and dopamine secretion from productive work. People like to study, work, etc. too. Remember? When in school, we used to solve an equation, and what sort of joy we used to feel? And we wanted to solve more. We used to feel rewarded every time we used to get the correct answer. But there are very few who derive happiness and kick from studies. When you score well in exams, their true happiness is nothing but the dopamine hormone. Happiness is a state of mind, a feeling that you get when you are satisfied, successful, feeling lucky, helping somebody in distress, or feeling safe. Every person in the world wants to be happy. But everyone chooses a distinct path to reach the same end goal. To attain the state, mainly these four hormones are helpful: dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, and endorphins. Fluctuations in these four hormones make you feel different in every different situation. Some feel good by doing something productive, some feel good when they get appreciation, some feel good when they create something using their own hands, some feel good when they make a record, break a record, deliver a product, deliver a service. Do 57. Mohammed Shakil: drugs, play games, party with friends. Everything that just makes somebody feel good. Now it is your job to decide what sort of task you want to invest your brain in. The brain's job is to reward you based on the work that you have undertaken. You must have observed in life when you start getting better at something, you feel good and then you want to improve even more. These activities can be singing, painting, writing, learning, or being in a relationship too. A writer made it big. He is one of the best in his times. Publishing houses line up to sign one contract with him. Every book of his is a bestseller. People adore him. He is a household name now, earns as much as if not more than any film celebrity, and he has everything in the world he could ever imagine having. But how did he come so far? When he wrote his first bit, he must have felt good about it. When he reread it himself, he must have seen a potential in his writing, or somebody else must have praised it. His brain then would have stimulated a hormone to make him feel that he should try to write even better. This is how an artist, a scientist, or an entrepreneur is born. If the hormones had not been released in the making, he wouldn't have got the motivation to do anything. 58. The psychology of laziness. It so often happens that when you do anything, and nobody appreciates, you see no results, you feel like quitting because your brain doesn't release that hormone of happiness that rewards you. You have heard the word motivation a lot, but do you know that it is nothing but dopamine which makes you feel good? This is the hormone that tells you, do it and you will feel good. In our life, whatever we do because our brain makes us feel good about it, and we head forward. We grow up and feel attracted to somebody, we fall in love, everything feels so right, all because of the chemicals that release in our brain. Think, if these chemicals in our system weren't there, what would happen? What is that power that makes anybody sacrifice his life for love? He is willing to do anything for the sake of his treasured ones if the need be. All this becomes possible because of the oxytocin hormone, which is also known as the love hormone. We all feel low, ecstatic, agonized, and feel that life is good, the world is beautiful and a lovely place, or it's living hell. All this happens due to the chemical turmoil that goes on inside your brain. 59. Mohammed Shakil. It happens right? Sometimes you feel like studying, sometimes you don't, sometimes you feel like going out, sometimes you don't, sometimes you want to hang out with friends, sometimes you don't, sometimes you feel like being alone, sometimes you don't. All this is due to hormones. We all want to control our brains, but we can't. What if we could increase our hormones of happiness whenever we wanted? Sometimes you feel like after having achieved so much, you aren't content. That is because we never understood our brains smartly. How to increase the dopamine hormone? Okay, so let's understand how to always stay happy, how to increase the happiness hormones in the brain. Meditation. You must have heard about meditation a lot. It increases focus and reduces stress because it releases dopamine hormone. The U.S. National Library of Medicine and the National Institute of Health's research observed meditation for 1 hour increases the dopamine level 60. The psychology of laziness up to 64% if we compare it with the quiet minds. You feel positive because of that, you feel motivated because of that. But for that you must learn it properly, you can learn it by practice. Regarding this, a lot of content is available on the internet. Exercise. How many of you know that exercise and yoga not only affect your body but also your mood and brain? Reduce stress, you feel less lazy. And they release endorphins and dopamine hormones which boost your brain and mood. Sleep. What exactly happens when dopamine releases? You stay focused, your mood is good, you stay alert, you feel woke. When we use our phones at night, do social networking, chatting, watch movies, writing, singing, and any such activity that releases dopamine, it does not let us sleep, due to which we stay awake, and feel dizzy or sleepy in daylight hours. This directly means that we must reduce our dopamine levels while we are about to sleep. 61. Mohammed Shakil. In research, it was found that when you stay awake all night and work, dopamine doesn't release in the daytime anymore, and you don't feel active, which proves if you don't sleep properly, you can't be focused, alert, productive, and happy the next day. The functioning of the brain is such that we feel exhausted because of all our dopamine secreted when we were working at night. And now the body is too tired to generate any excitement, and hence, no dopamine is released the next morning. On the U.S. government National Center for Biotechnology Information's website, research claims that the only reason you are not concentrated and coordinated is that your brain is not secreting enough dopamine. Concentration is everything. If you want to make your future certain and secure, the only thing that you need to focus on is your focus. The National Sleep Foundation's research says you should at least sleep for 7 to 9 hours every night. Music. Now, this is a way I use a lot. You must have seen in a party or a club, when the music is very upbeat, or is a dance number, you automatically feel energetic and don't need any other trigger to rock the dance floor. Again, it is urged by dopamine. 62. The psychology of laziness. Some people like listening to music while they go to sleep, some like it while they are working, some like to re-energize the mood while in slumber. When you watch a movie, you must have seen, for different kinds of scenes such as funny, horror, emotional and romantic, there is different music used to evoke that feeling which the story wants to convey, which directly affects the mood, and mood is affected, that means the dopamine is released. You can listen to music while studying. In my life, music played a very important role. Even while I was writing this book, I was listening to a concentrating music that enhanced my focus. Nutrition. At last, what do you eat? Because you are what you eat. Like you eat, like your mood is, likewise, your brain works. What you should eat, what not, what is healthy for you, what is not, what is right for your body type, all this you already must be knowing. Your mother or your dietitian must have educated you about it. 63. Mohammed Shakil. In short, to control our brain is very difficult, but once we have understood the reason behind the difficulty, it becomes a lot easier for us to control our sadness and enhance our happiness. 64. Chapter 5. How to Set Goals. The Psychology of Laziness. How much time do we have? Where is this time going? How to keep energy and motivation to do something productive in this important time? Now the question that should arise in your mind is, what exactly should we do in this time? Means we got time, we know our weapons. We know what to fight for, what are goals of life, how to start, and how to work on it, and how to persevere. We have sharpened our spears, let's talk about how to wield them. So now we know how to set goals, then how to start. As I had said, acquiring knowledge is not enough, it is only the first stage. To put it into some use is an important step. Enough talking now, let's start working on our goals. Now I'm going to tell you how to set goals. After that, I will tell you where to start. The biggest and toughest part is where to start. Once you have started, your brain automatically through the reward system. It keeps you motivated and going. The biggest push is required in starting the work. Many of the things are being procrastinated just because people don't know how to start. After setting goals, how to start is the biggest subject to be discussed. 67. Mohammed Shakil. To set goals, I'm not going to tell you a long and cumbersome process, a very easy and simple method I'm going to discuss, and as they say, simple things last longer. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. Leonardo da Vinci. The more you gain the experience, the simpler it becomes for you to explain and do. Hence, doing simple things is the most difficult thing anybody can do. Let me give you an example of movies. You will be able to relate to this easily. And you must use this analogy in achieving your goals. No matter how big the goal is, you can achieve it by simply applying this analogy. Before the actual shoot of a film commences, in the beginning, there are germs of the idea or thought inside the head of the screenwriter. He builds and develops the plot around that idea and tries to write a full feature film out of it. He converts that small idea into a bound script of few hundred pages. He breaks everything down into the smallest of pieces, dialogues, screenplay, camera angles, movements of everything. Second by second, everything is written on the paper. Once this is all done, he brings on 68. The Psychology of Laziness board, the producer and director for the film. They cast the characters and other technical crew, and the whole team goes on to follow a bunch of preset schedules when the actual filming begins. Simultaneously, while the film is being made, songs are designed, if any. Side by side, the shot footage is edited, and every single frame is made to look sharp and crisp, while the actual film is still under production. Finally, the remaining edit is done. Once the principal photography is done and the final cut is out, it goes for dubbing and background score. Sometimes they use the actual shot audio using the booms, and sometimes they dub and merge the dubbed clips with video footage from the shoots. Then there is color grading, special effects like VFX, etc. Where in the beginning there were only germs of thought in the head of the writer, now the whole text has been converted into the audio visuals, and the film is set for its screenings and theatrical release. First a thought, then video, audio, music, and blending all these we got our final output. A goal is achieved. When the thought of a film comes to a writer, he calls it a project. You think of it as a goal that you want to set for yourself, just like the writer starts writing it down. You write your goal down, write your ideas about how you are going to achieve it. Writing 69. Mohammed Shakil. It down brings a lot of difference. You get a clear direction. Write your strategies and plan of action in your notes, and act accordingly. Write your own story. If it wasn't important to write, why would the screenwriter bother to write everything down? He could develop the story in his head too, but writing gave him the crystal clear clarity of action and direction. Through script, the director keeps close monitoring of the work that has been done and the work which is still pending. Just like the director makes the actors act based on the story he has in the script, you too can treat your body and mind as your actors, and you are a director who can make them work whatever way you want. Your mind is the actor and you are the director. On the sets of a film, the director has the say, not the actors. Don't let the mind take the driver's seat. Take charge of your life and make everything else work for you, including your mind. Else the movie would be a disaster and your life too. Divide your goals into smaller parts and then work hard on each of them separately. You won't mix it up. Since you have sorted your work, confusion subsides. Just the way your phone gallery works, there are thousands of photos in there, and it never mixes them up. 70. The psychology of laziness. Whenever you want a particular picture, you can access it without a hitch, because there are customized folders, like a camera album, WhatsApp pictures, downloaded photos, etc. Similarly, if you categorize your life goals, it will give you clarity of thoughts. You can set your priorities accordingly. You can focus easily. Just focus on the smaller parts and make it awesome and keep it consistent. And you will see, it will one day make the whole picture look awesome. You will have to divide your goals into micro goals. Like, if you want to become a video editor, your micro goals should be: first, buy a laptop, learn the basics of a computer, then learn the editing software, then enhance your editing skills, and finally make a living out of it. Take small steps, picture big. Keep working on small goals and it will all accumulate into a bigger one. After you have figured out your niche, you will have to break it into micro niche. Like micro goals of acting would be facial expressions, voice modulation, dialogue, body language, etc. Likewise, making the chain of micro goals, and simultaneously doing all the paperwork for record. 71. Mohammed Shakil. You will eventually learn the correct method of approaching the results. Now you won't have to dawdle, because you have the blueprint of your action plan. Since you have everything written down, you will never face the anxiety of forgetting or missing out on anything. You are getting my point? Now comes the point of starting. To bring to this point, I had prepared you with all the concepts of success. If you miss this point out, then one day you will forget everything about this book and it will make no. Chapter 6. But where to start? From the psychology of laziness till now, whatever I have explained, you will not necessarily remember for eternity. So, implement it in life as soon as you can. Start working on your goals. Take charge of your life. The more you use the information I've shared in this book, the less are the chances of forgetting it. Remember, acquiring knowledge is just a first stage. Applying it in life is the most important one. In the beginning, I had told you that whatever occupation you are in, you definitely have some spare time, either more or less. We had done a calculation and concluded 3,190 hours. It can be some hours less for many, but there is some spare time for everybody for sure. So much so that you can work on your dreams, your passion, your side business, or anything like that. I gave you an example of book reading and said 531 books can be read in that spare time of 3,190 hours if we just read books. But it is obvious that we are not going to read books only. We will do a couple of other things too. Besides, it is true that learning from others' life is worthwhile, and we can do wonders in a short time, but we will have to learn certain things on our own too. 75. Mohammed Shakil, whatever we learn indirectly in our life, that is just one side of the coin, we need to successfully and fully implement it. 2. You feed your brain with volumes of knowledge, but you cannot work wonders with it until you come out of your cocoon of inaction and start struggling with the real world. These things are never taught in school or college. They are just filling your brains with a lot of useful information with zero sense of practical implication. They don't teach you how and where to apply it. For instance, I was studying computer applications in a college, where I saw the teacher who was teaching us to make websites, himself had not created one. They have acquired the knowledge but never implemented it. They are just passing it on. I understand teaching is an art on its own and requires a lot of dedication and effort, but it is just not that. It involves in-depth knowledge about the subject. Merely superficial discourse can never do wonders for students. Most teachers never bother to teach students the actual implementation of the subject. They just want to complete the syllabus and go home. Mostly those who take up the job of a teacher are the ones who themselves have done nothing remarkable. 76. The psychology of laziness don't know how to implement bookish principles, they just know how to teach those from books. In high school, when I took up commerce for 11th grade, business studies was being taught by someone who himself had never tried to run a business. My dear teachers, you must be realizing it is not difficult to understand. I am not reading the newspaper. I am not preaching life thoughts or fairy tales. I am telling you the things which are generally unaddressed and go unnoticed in the daily scheme of things. The part where you are about to begin, I am going to bifurcate it into where to start and how to go autopilot after the start. Many people start easily but after some time have an urge to give it up, and always find problems in consistently doing it. 1. How to go autopilot after the start. As I had talked about the reward system and dopamine chemical in the earlier section of the book, how dopamine chemical decides for how long you can consistently do a task without losing motivation. 77. Mohammed Shakil and zeal. Because when you keep getting results, your efforts don't stop. As long as you are making progress, dopamine releases. Progress is happiness. It forms a chain. You get results, you get motivated, you do better. Hence you get results, and so on. All this, you must have understood if you have thoroughly understood the things about the brain and dopamine chemical. That is why I had said, you will be able to understand the last part of the book if you were truly concentrated throughout the book. Trust this brain system of yours. When life starts bringing those things for you that you had always wanted, you will start doing things that you had never imagined for yourself. You will be filled with vigor and energy. You will go crazy. You will be thinking, why so much fun is life? You won't stop telling people how motivated you are. How positive do you feel about life? 2. Where to start. But when will the actual beginning happen? When you reach that level, you will have started already. 78. The psychology of laziness. Once you begin, you have completed 50% of the work. As I had talked about the deathbed mentality, if you find out you have 6 months only, will you be lazy anymore? Will you procrastinate? Will you snooze the alarm? Will you forget anything about it? I had explained deathbed mentality, that when it gets ingrained in your mind that you are soon going to die, you lose the fear of taking risks, you don't procrastinate, you don't care for needless perfection. You would not wait for anything, you would start with anything you have. What is the biggest reason you are not able to start? First, you procrastinate, which means you keep thinking about it, but you do not start. Second, you don't feel the dire necessity of doing it. First, let me explain how to start without thinking a lot, and then I will explain the role of necessity. When you start eating a lot, you eventually realize that you are eating a lot. When you speak a lot, you eventually realize you are speaking a lot. But once you are hit by the bug of overthinking, you think a lot. You don't even realize that it has become a problem. How would you fix this overthinking problem? Because you sit down to think of a solution, but again 79. Mohammed Shakil, you drown in your thoughts, thinking a lot. And overthinking causes a lot of problems such as frustrated nature, volatile nature. Because of that you don't have enough energy to work on your dreams. I give you some hacks that you can apply when you start overthinking about anything. First, you have to understand, there is nothing such as positive and negative thoughts when it comes to overthinking. In both cases, overthinking is a problem. People generally have the perception that having negative thoughts in mind for a long time is harmful, but having too many thoughts for positive outcomes is not good too. Such as making a lot of money, having a big house, and a lot of affluence. If you only think about it, will not leave yourself enough energy to actually work upon your goals. Overthinking is in both positive and negative thoughts. Don't think of yourself as a thought, because you become what you think. But you are a thinker, thoughts come to your mind. The best way to separate yourself from the thoughts is when you start overthinking. You should think, is it important to think about it right now, or rather, to work on it? Asking questions constantly gives a sense of the right direction. The person who asks questions only knows the direction. 80. The psychology of laziness. So, when you ask the above question to yourself, the answer you get is working on it is rather more important. You will realize you could think about it later, but working on it is more important. Second, when you make any mistake, or something is bothering you a lot, ask yourself what will affect your future more, the things you are doing right now, or the thoughts that are bothering you in your head. You will get the answer. It is important to do things and not worry about anything else. Your future does not depend on the fact that what are the things that bother you in your thoughts, rather the things that you do matter the most. Third, you think that you will start when everything is perfect, the resources, the timing, and the mood, but trust me, that is not going to happen ever, and even if it happens it will be too late. You keep stalling it because you want to make an excellent first impression. But just think, isn't a mediocre impression for the first time is far better than no impression at all? Just start, don't worry if it is good or bad, there is nothing that cannot be fixed later. If you haven't started well, it can be fixed later. But start. There is no later. Later means never. 81. Chapter 7, necessity. The psychology of laziness. To start with anything, you must have that strong reason why you want to do it. Else you would not be able to hold on to it for a long time. You will lose the motivation and the spark that you had in the beginning. You might set out on a venture heeding my advice, but if the inner drive of yours is not big enough, you will eventually give up. Every invention, every discovery to date was not made for the sake of it. It did not require any motivation or artificial means of inspiration. Science made its way through humanity because there was a burning need, a natural urge of filling that void. If it wasn't for the necessity, no invention would ever have been possible. Electricity, technology, everything that has made our life way more comfortable and convenient today, was nothing but the result of that dire necessity that we felt towards making it possible. You will start doing gym, start studying, start working on a new project, with all your zeal, focus, and excitement, but if you don't realize the reason and need of why you started doing it in the first place, it would fizzle out. 85. Mohammed Shakil. For instance, if you are stuck in woods, a complete wilderness with no trail of getting out of it, dying of hunger, and on top of that you are a vegan, would you eat flesh? Or would you not? Probably you might end up eating flesh, for your survival instincts were bigger than your petty rules of life. A dire necessity and adversity can make people do crazy things. You might find a lot of rich people today who have been from a poor or a humble background in the past. Poverty was their reason, lack of resources and a wish to give their people a good life was their drive to work hardest. I ask you to fight a bunch of people for no apparent reason, you wouldn't. But if I tell you this same bunch of people has come to harm your family, you alone would find yourself enough to defend and protect your family. Isn't it? You just have to attach a solid reason with the target that you aim for. If you study, think of it as something foundational which will eventually help in your future, which you don't learn you won't be able to lead a happy life. Any goal that you want to aim for should be associated with a big motif that is 86. The psychology of laziness big enough to push you up to it. A goal should not be a goal anymore, it should feel like an emergency. Whether it be earning money and marrying the best girl ever, getting out of trouble, clearing off debt, give the family a life of luxury. It can be anything. When your goals are not goals anymore, they have become emergency, then there is no lethargy, no bug of procrastination, no crap of always doing it right comes in the way. Necessity is big, you start, and you get the results too. This will keep you going further. You just start and see, it will keep taking you forward. Once your brain starts rewarding you, figure out the necessity, take the goal as an emergency, just start it. Your mind won't let you relax. Once you start getting results, it will constantly force you to take action. The deadlock will never ever come your way again. This brain that craves rewards will keep pushing you until the task is done. It can fill you with energy, and once you realize this secret, you will keep jumping around, finding something or the other to do. You won't just be able to waste your time, won't be able to sit idle. 87. Mohammed Shakil. With whatever resources you have, whatever actions you can take, just being there where you are, whatever you know is enough. Put it all, whatever your might is, just begin. Think of it as you are in a cave, a dark, eerie cave, and you have limited time and things to come out of it, or else you are trapped in it for life. What will be your response? You will try your best with whatever things and courage you can gather, in whatever time you have. Will you ever think about perfection? Will you procrastinate? Will you be afraid of failure? I guess no is the answer. Because fear should be of inaction, not of failure. Wish you all the very best. Maud. Shaquille from Cool Mitra, support your dreams. Thank you very much. 88. The Psychology of Laziness. About the author. Mohammed Shaquille is a writer, speaker, digital marketer, online trainer, a great thinker and a visionary. He's only 22 and was awarded by the United Nations for being India's youngest motivational speaker. He has more than 20 lakh subscribers on YouTube, where he talks about logical motivation, ways to make money, life-changing formulas, intellectual topics, and work-like-hell kind of topics. Cool Mitra channel started 4 years ago and has completed a journey of over 120 million views so far. He is looking forward to starting a dedicated YouTube channel for short films in the same category which nobody has ever done in India so far. His video courses and ebooks are also available on his website. He sold over 100,000 copies of his ebooks in just 4 months. In 2018 he started selling high-ticket courses to masses when only a few were selling courses in India.